Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk FGO. And we are getting into the holiday spirit, in case you can't tell. I am the Turkey Omega, and with me as always is the cranberry sauce. Lucky.
I do like cranberry sauce. But, everyone, I hope you're enjoying Fate, Grand Order, aka A Time for Giving. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should conduct a witch hunt.
Yeah, so that, once again, that is one of those double true things, because there is a pregame in this episode, and there's a Teach Me Omega Sensei, assuming we get to both, which we probably should. They're not long, but they're gonna be talking about some heavy stuff, so if you want that naked fresh experience, yeah.
Oh, so fresh, so hot.
So, having done our intro and bit bobs, it's time to really quick remind everybody this episode is brought to you by patrons like Iga Comics, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kyler Denton, Nestor Flores, Soda-san 0424, and VideoGamer75, and that if you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon so you can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and we really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
There it is. And thank you Patrons Day was actually earlier this week. It's a pity for Patreon they couldn't put it on like a weekend or something so we could make an episode about it, but no, it was a Tuesday.
So weird.
I tweeted about it, whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's an anniversary for, like, something they did. I'm not all up in the patrons culture, but we're here. And we've got, hopefully, a plenty fleshed out show for you to do. So let's go ahead and check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mesh.
Senpai! 起きてください.
That's right, everybody. It's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our raving segment for pro tips that proves that our content is not aimed at children. So we got a fun one today. So I was talking to some people about math, basically, of cards and things, and somebody was able to actually get an image of the stats. They did a cutout of the actual modifiers for cards. So I think this is a decent topic to talk about, because I don't know if we've ever talked about these numbers directly, but this is something that people might want to know, because it actually may surprise you how big some of these differences are. So, hold on. For patrons who are watching at home, I'll drop the image again, and for Lucky. So, as you know, command cards, they grow in damage and effectiveness based on when they are in the order, so, the first card is the weakest, the last card is the strongest. This only applies to normal face cards. Noble Phantasm cards always do their normal base damage and modifiers. So, like, for instance, your single target Noble Phantasm is always that much %, etc.
Yeah.
So, looking at this, you can see immediately why Quick and Quick Servants often have a problem. That first Quick card is at 80% damage, and that second Quick card is at 96% damage. You don't go over 100% damage until you get to the third card.
Jeez.
This means that especially in classes like Assassin, who also have I think it's 0.95 damage modifier, that means your first couple Quick cards are very anemic. Now, the advantage of Quick is that it has normal NP generation, so it does 100 on the first card, 150 on the second, and 200%. So that would be that much of whatever your normal NP gain per hit stat is, divided up among your hit counts. But, so, Quick is an okay average NP gen. And it has Star Rate, which is the best at. I don't know exactly how Star Gen is calculated either, but that's, your native Star Generation stat plus your modifiers. But Quick is like 80% generation on the first card, 130, and then 180. So it's the all-arounder, which means that it suffers heavily on damage, which, as people have talked about in the past, it is kind of what the game is about. Like, obviously, you can do stalls and whatever, you can do a gradual grind, but ultimately, the only way to win, barring some kind of, like, very special story gimmick fights, is to do damage. So, Quick has kind of the same problem that Arts does, where it's offset, so it's like, okay, we do a quick turn, we get all this damage, then we do a critical turn, but sometimes that doesn't work out. So, until Scotty very specifically buffs Quick's rate of NP gain and critical effectiveness, it's playing a little bit of catch-up. Arts is pretty easy to understand. It's got what we would call probably pretty normal damage. The first card is 100%. The second card is 120%. The third card is 140%. Pretty basic. And then it has 300, 450, and 600% NP rate per hit, so that's good. And then it has no star gen, period. The only way to get star gen on that is to get whatever the first card in the chain bonus is, which I don't... That's not displayed in this, but I don't know what it is. Now, this should shock nobody, but Buster's really good at damage. The first card is 150% damage, flat out, with the second being 180, and the final one, the third card, being 210. So if you ever want a big damage cycle, put your Buster at the back. But it also makes great to start, because it means you don't have to worry about those god-awful other cards. So, for instance, usually ABQ is used as the optimal NP gen, depending on hit counts, standard card combo, because that lets the arts start the chain and apply the arts effect. Arts has okay damage and very good NP gain on the first one. Your Buster gets in there, and you're like, ah, whatever. And then the Quick is like, oh, it can take advantage of the extra effect it has and actually do damage. If you're going to do a damaged, 3-card combo, that would probably be Buster Quick Arts, because the Quick is awful. But Buster also has a little bit of Star Gen on there. It's got 10, 15, and 20%. So, there you go. That's hopefully pretty helpful on letting you know what cards do what, where, and how that all works out with those numbers. Because this is, if I understand rightly, basically the way this works is your damage is whatever your servant's actual attack stat is, times their class multiplier, times the base damage on your card, and then that is divided up by however many hits you have. So, a 5-hit and a 2-hit do roughly the same damage of the same attack. It's just they do it in different orders. And then, we've talked about the relationship before, but we also have this pinned in our Discord. There's a relationship of buffs. So, attack up adds on to that, card performance up, criticals and other damage specialties, that sort of thing. And they have different categories, so you can do lots of different little things. And hopefully that makes you better. So that's our pro tip. Go us. So let's go ahead and keep rolling on down our intro segments. Do Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. I managed to get the challenge quest done, and Ishtar now has all 5 grails. She's not a level 100 yet, because that takes like 1.5 million EXP. It's a lot. It's a lot, kids. Yeah, that 99 to 100 is a lot of EXP. I'm working on it. We have half AP dailies, so I'll try, but damn.
On mine, I did not actually get the challenge quest completed because I was focusing on other aspects. On my end, I actually was able to get all 10 boxes acquired, and with said embers, I was able to get a torture lolly, Lucid Hand, and an Arash, a Smile Protect. Incidentally, with Arash, that makes 100 servants at max level, 61 to go.
Yeah, so I only barely got the 5 boxes done, but I managed to get a CQ win in there, so.
I guess, on top of that, I was finally able to get Tomomo's, second skill, Tomomo Lancer, second skill to 10. I think I am literally just missing some QP and maybe a few Secret Lancer gems, and she'll be done.
Well, you have to do some doors for the extra master mission, so maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. Well, not extra master missions yet, but let's move on into, did you finish your master missions? Master missions? Those things. So this week's were defeat 30 enemies, excluding servants and certain bosses, defeat 3 neutral, 3 chaotic servants. Those are 2 separate ones. And then 3 gems of archers, casters, or assassins, 3 gems of lancers, riders, or berserkers, or sabers. Sorry, that's also in there. And then 8 gems total. So honestly, you can do these just by doing your dailies. You should have got this through Christmas farming if you were doing that most of the way. You can get all of these done. And there's nothing special about these master missions. Let's see, is this... Wait, hold on, I gotta tack something in a free talk really quick.
Oh.
There's people to talk about, but I'm trying to think about the right place to put it. Well, I have to talk a lot later. Do you want to burn through the news real quick?
I will burn through the news real quick. So, we're going to start things off over in JP. Right now, we got Hunting Quest Part 6 running from November 20th to November 26th. No real details on what we got going on. I mean, there's details, but honestly, I haven't seen them. So.
They don't announce them in ahead of time, so it's been skeletons and knights so far. That's all we know.
And so, from what I understand, people aren't really too pleased with Hunting Quest, but they're just basically thinking it's just as an in-between before we hit their Christmas event and the next Lost Belt. But also going on in JP is the Prototype Fragments Audio CD campaign, also running from November 20th, but going all the way to December 4th. Log in for a few days to get some silver apples and a CE. Let's see here. Frame points and 6x2 for Prototype Servants. The Arthur costume is in the RP shop now. And let's see, we have an Arthur and Ozymandias raid up with Paracelsus, Serenity, and Jekyll all the time. What wasn't Arash a prototype?
Yeah, but he's FP.
Yeah, I know he's for reprint. It was just.
But yes, he for purposes of extra friend points and success rate, he counts. He's just left out of the banner because he's a poor bronzy.
He's a poor bronzy. I don't know. Were there any other prototype servants that we have right now?
I think it's I think that's all the prototype fragments. Anyway,
wasn't Gil in there, but he was just a different version.
Well, yeah. So Gil, the important thing is this is specifically prototype fragments, which is the Fate Zero of prototype.
Yeah,
which is where Oz, Serenity, Jekyll, etc. are from. So, do we have? Let's see. We have Coup prototype. We don't have Gil prototype though. He's been data mined. So yeah, I don't know. I think we have all the prototype fragments. But by the way, that's fragments of silver and blue. Hence why it's silver apples.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember seeing, because they had a CM for prototype, and I remember seeing Gil in that, and he looks different.
Yes, his design was different.
But anyway, that's neat. So we're going to switch on over here to the North Americas, and we're doing our Thanksgiving special 2019, running again November 20th, but to December 1st. Log in for a week to get extra materials and goodies, limited time master missions for statues and summon tickets. Alstofo's costume is in the MP shop, and we have a Thanksgiving rolling raid up on Gilgamesh, Ogita, Amakusa, MHX, Da Vinci, Arturia Lancer, Hijikata, and Iskander. Now, as I said, okay, so I know for a fact that Ogita and Hijikata, those are from the Kyomath banner.
So it sounds like we're going to get, because we don't have a Kyomath here, we're going to get the Kyomath servants pushed to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Some of those are from New Year's, but I'm not sure all of them. Hold on.
Yeah, no. Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like, I'm pretty sure they smashed some of these banners together, because otherwise, because I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be a Da Vinci raid up too somewhere in this time.
There may have been.
Let's see here.
I'll look at the schedule in a sec. I'm double checking what would be our Happy New Year. So, only Gil is from New Year's.
Oh wow.
The New Year's lineup that was in Japan for this upcoming was Hokusai, obviously, who's new, Musashi, Gilgamesh, Moriarty, Skahak, Tamamo, and Melt. Almost none of whom appear in the current Thanksgiving Rumble.
Did Iskander have a raid up around this time?
I think him and MHX are getting an extra raid up.
Yeah, so
which is good. So hold on, let me dig into the event lineup.
Yeah, I said, again, this is one of those things where we can be, this is truly a time to be grateful.
If you want to be like, oh shoot, oh shoot, NA doesn't love us because of the rigmarole with the compensation tickets. Oh, you lost your login streak. No, people were saying that as Albert was in Anime NYC talking about the Thanksgiving prep. So let's see. So October, scaling forward. Okay, so November. We got interlude campaign. We got 8 million downloads. So
was Artorial Lancer from the stage? Was the stage play banner around this time?
Yes, there would have been a stage play banner we missed in September.
Yeah, so that's where Artorial Lancer probably came from.
Oh, no, actually.
What?
That's where Da Vinci is from. She was supposed to get a raid up in there.
Oh, okay. That's right, because Da Vinci was also part of the stage play.
Yeah, Da Vinci was part of that, so that was missed, and that was the Kiomaf. So those two are from there, but stuff like MHX Iskandar, those are all new, because there are no banners that had them on there that we're missing.
Alright, so, go us. I might have to throw some goddamn tickets.
Yeah, I have already spent 5 on Okita. I got nothing. I'm going to spend at least 10 on Da Vinci, and then we're going to see what happens.
Yep.
And that's how I operate. We'll see what happens.
We will see. Alright, so we're going to switch back over. Details on Nightingale's Christmas. We still haven't got full details yet what's going on, but we do have a few things. So, we have a complete bonus servant list. It is as follows. We have Caesar, Jason, Araya, Svataman, Altera Santa, Amia, Robin Hood, Paris, Bradamante, John d'Arc, Santa Alter Lily, Poison, Gareth, Astolfo, Santa Alter, Boudica, Black Bart, Rhyme, Chingong, Hans, Jack, Kotaro, Charlotte, Vlad, Kentucky, Nightingale, Atlante Alter, Darius, the third, Salome, Amakusa, Santa Ketz, Jalter, and Mash.
So, while Lucky was reading that list, you may have noticed a couple of interesting things. First of all, I think every major bonus servant from our previous Christmas is in there, but all the new bronzes are in there.
Yep, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Which is a very interesting tactic they're doing.
Well, which is nice, because it means at least this time there is at least a bronze in all slots.
Yeah.
So, because that is something that I definitely will complain about, is sometimes...
Heck, it was just in the last one. There was no bonus saber at all.
Yeah. And Lancer was just the welfare, which you may or may not have. So, on top of that, we do have a banner image of Nightingale. She is definitely Christmas themed. Looks to be done by the same artist. Mm-hmm. Also, people are debating if whether or not she's holding an umbrella or an entire fucking sleigh above her head.
Or if it's a gun. Nobody is sure.
Nobody is sure. And, of course, with any new event comes the new rumors. This time we are accompanied by Datamine rumors of no rerun of last year, at least in the next month.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about how I credit that, I guess I should say. Sometimes, like, right before an event, the data mine will get, like, a peek if it's, like, preloaded into the files before maintenance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have no date on this, so I'm pretty sure this shit isn't preloaded. Now, can they calculate that there's no rerun in it yet? Okay, maybe, but sometimes data miners or leakers are completely wrong. They just made some shit up and said they data mined it. Other times, they're dead on. So it's hard to tell which this is.
Yeah, like, I'm also seeing, I've seen some rumors about that we're gonna have the SSR Saber Astolfo.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but a lot of people are saying there's gonna be a Saber in the banner.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's finally Saber Astolfo, that'll be interesting, but I'm like,
Like,
this seems like a really weird time to pick it up, especially considering there's a, next year will be well, maybe not next year, but sometime soon there'll be the Apocrypha rerun.
So, this is what I tell people. It's like, data mining, yeah, might not be entirely wrong, but remember, when you're looking at data mines, you're literally holding one piece out of a 250-piece puzzle. You're not going to see the entire picture just from that one piece. Just hold on and wait.
Yeah. Also, who the fuck knows when they're going to use data that's in a data mine? We just got Calamity Jane. She has been data mined since the game came out.
Also, your data mine didn't give us fucking Space Ishtar or who else did? Or fucking Santa Nightingale. So
yes, there's a lot of weird question marks about when stuff is data mined and where. So I don't know. If they are not actually doing the rerun right now, which would be very weird, because even though they've basically Nasu said they've stopped doing Halloween as Halloween. They still did Oniland again. They still reran that. So it would be very weird for them to not rerun this. But it also might be because I think it was the least Christmas themed, because it's a Carnival wrestling themed event. It's possible they might have moved it so they could make sure they get, Lost Belt 5 out, because they don't want to delay that because they know that makes people angry.
Yeah. Like, as I said, like, looking at the event, unless they have some weird-ass big campaign, they probably have time to do the new Christmas Lost Belt and still have time to tack on the rerun at the end of the year.
Yes, or they could put it in January to just fill up space if they're like, this isn't that seasonal, because January is always a really weird month for FGO because it's right after the New Year's big blowout, and they usually do a lot of big stuff in December, but it's not quite February yet, so it's not New Valentine's.
Yeah.
And I know some people are like, what about my rerun of Benny and Ms. Inn?
I don't know. That's a weird thing.
They haven't rerun Setsubun yet.
Nope.
Which, by the way, is tied to an actual Japanese festival in that time period, so it's a little weird. Or if they're skipping a rerun entirely, I would guess that means they're probably ready to roll out bringing back old welfares. Because, like I said, they literally just reran Oniland for Caster Shuten. I don't really see any other reason other than just they're trying to massage the schedule. Oh, shoot, though. I don't... now that we moved ahead, did I talk about where's a good place to do the extra master missions?
No.
Oh, I forgot. We'll cycle back there if in a second if we don't have any other thoughts about what you call it.
Well, no, just data mining. As I said, I guess this means, guys, like, data mining isn't the end all be all of truth and clairvoyance.
Yes, just because something is data mined doesn't mean it's not true, and also that only applies to data that is in the game, obviously.
Yeah. So, don't panic. Just wait, relax. You'll get through it. Breathe.
But yeah, so my thought would be that if they're not doing that, they're planning on rolling out a way to get your old welfares back. Starting with somehow Samba Cats. But I don't know. But yeah, so I was going to talk about this with the limited time master mission because they give you tickets and stuff. So some of these are a little weird. Like a couple of them that you can just do with dailies, which I'm doing right now. I'm doing Treasure Vault. Just run those a couple times. It's half AP. It's easy. The other ones, so you need 5 Earth Trait, 5 Wild Beasts, 3 Divine Servants, and 3 Servants with Luck A+. You should have been able to get Divine and then Wild Beast and Earth Trait out of the way just farming the Stalking Node at Christmas.
Yep.
But in case you didn't, there's a really cheap AP setup. Basically do Montgomery in America once, because that gives you Shadow Arjuna, who is Divine and Lucky. And then do Jura in Orleans a couple of times, because you have to do one map in Chapter 5, is also one of the things. And the Orleans map gives you 5 werewolves, 2 wyverns, and Shadow Martha. So Martha is Divine plus Lucky, and werewolves and wyverns are Earth, werewolves are beasts. So do that a couple of times, and you've cleared them all out, which I have done.
I'm gonna throw some tickets for Open right now. That's Fergus.
It's an interesting thing. Apparently, in an interview with the producer of BBCT Cross Tag Battle, which is their big, Arxis' big crossover game, which is the 2.0. He apparently said he wants to do a collab with FGO and put Musashi in the roster. That'd be interesting to see.
Well, I spent 5 tickets for Okuta. Got dick.
Hey, I know that feeling. High five.
High five. Yeah. I'll save these 10 for Da Vinci.
Yeah, I know. Like, I was all in on saving for, it would be the second banner of, Salem, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Because of Midrash, because she's story-locked otherwise. But then they were like, Thanksgiving, look at all these servants, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, there was an Okita read-up we missed. And then it was like, oh fuck, there's a Da Vinci read-up in this. Oh, I know the rerun is coming soon, but still, oh.
It's like, how dare
Da Vinci. How dare you, yes. Luckily, there's plenty of extra tickets. Alright, so, that's the news, kids. Honestly, things look bright. If only I knew when stuff was gonna happen, but I don't.
That's how it rolls!
Because, let's see. We'll probably get Salem before the 1st of December, but when, I don't know. It was about 3 days offset in JP, but we had ours extended a day, so I don't know. But there's a reason why, in case you didn't pick up on it, Salem's pregame is in this episode, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be probably announced over the weekend and then come out in the middle of the week. But alright, so first thing up in Free Talk is actually, people have been saying this a lot, and I wanted to talk about it on air, just so we could get it out there, because a lot of people have been pointing out that our big collab video with Voice of St. Quartz, covering all the welfares, only went up to Altera. Altera is about to come out in NA, which means that that video will now be obsolete. So a lot of people have been asking, what are the chances there will be another video like that? I think we can safely say, without any kind of like rudeness or dismissal, the chances of that are low.
Yeah,
that's fair to say. I know Voice still enjoys FGO, but he doesn't really stream or talk about it anymore. Maybe when Summer Melt comes out on NA, he'll get her and feel joy. I know he still cares because he just tweeted about getting a Lancer Artoria figure earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't really do FGO content anymore. So doing that type of collab is unlikely. If you want it to happen, you would have to ask him. But when I say that, I do not mean, like, go bug him about it. Like, don't shit up his streams and whatever, talking to him about it. Ask him politely, see what he thinks, whatever. We're open to do it with him again. Voice is great. We love him. But I don't think he wants to do that kind of content anymore as much.
Yeah.
And as for us doing it solo, honestly, that's not really our style of video. We do reviews of welfares as they come out. We will probably do a refresher on the new Altera Santa when she comes out. But we tend to tackle welfares as they happen, both in JP and then when they're released in NA. So doing a big, long guide you can refer to over the next couple of years, probably not. Just saying. I don't know, man. Our videos are already long enough. I don't know if I'd want to sit down and do a whole big thing about it again. So we'll see, but yeah, that's kind of our well, that's my thoughts and feelings. Lucky, do you agree?
Well, I personally wouldn't be opposed to us doing more specialized like guide videos, but
well,
I don't know. We could, but like I said, like I don't know what kind of format that would use. It's like how would we do that? Would we do that like per year?
Yeah, we'd have to think about it and pilot it.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I will say, like, Voice got other interests right now. He got other things going on. And I'm not going to try and, like, pull him back from, like, whatever he's doing. I'm not going to try and pull him back from living his best fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
Just for, of the sake of, this.
The views.
The views.
Because let's be real, those videos were popular. They would probably get lots of views. Obviously, people are asking about them. They were hosted on his channel, so it's not like we got anything out of it other than just the eyeballs, which helped, but still. So it's like, we're not necessarily about that. I love it when a video does well. People were apparently really happy about the NP subs, which actually we should probably mention.
Oh god, that totally happened.
Because that was announced at the Thanksgiving panel, but that happened right away. But people were super stoked for NP subs, but that happened.
Yeah,
that news video, which I eventually realized to put NP subs in the title. That news video did crazy good for a news video. Like, I was worried it would outpace the actual LTFGO episode that week. It did not, because that video also did amazingly well. But yeah, it was a huge deal to people and got a lot of eyes on. But we don't necessarily do it just for the clicks and whatever. And I don't think Voice does it either. Otherwise, he would still be doing FGO top 10 videos.
Well, I guess I have to make a confession. It's like, I would, if I knew a video would, if I did a certain video, it would, like, be that breakout video that get us, like, the thousands upon thousands of extra subscribers. I'd probably do it, but I don't know what that video is, and I'm in no big rush.
Yeah, that's the problem, is we don't know what that video is, so we're not against experimentation, but, like I said, we're not gonna quote-unquote sell out just because we know that that would be a slight uptick in our viewership and to, like, bug Voice about it, so we may, like you said, we could pilot and test a format. Like, relatively recently. It was earlier this year, I guess, we started doing wanteds, which mostly I do the work on, but I know Lucky will do a select few in the future.
Yeah.
And other stuff like that, we do news desk whenever it's like, oh shit, they've announced something that's going to happen in the middle of the week before Let's Talk FGO is recorded, so, we're not opposed to branching out to more stuff. It's just,
we started doing wanted before this year.
I'd have to double check when. Let's see. It was maybe it was. What was this year's? It may have been last year. It wasn't at the start of the game because there were still a couple of cleanup ones to do. So it was a while before we did it. Maybe it was halfway through, like a couple years ago. Not earlier this year, but like a year and a half ago, maybe.
Because I definitely want to say Wanted Musashi was not your first Wanted.
No, that's true. So it must have been in the middle of last year.
Yeah. Did I not save it? Sorry, Lucky is working on the thumbnail, as he should. And I can't find the fucking hecking goddamn window. Did I save it in the wrong? I bet I did. God damn it.
That happens to me. I did a CC cleaner on my computer because it was running earlier, and now I've accidentally been exporting videos to my pictures instead of my videos, and I'm just like, fuck. I never think about this. It's gonna take me forever to remember and fix it. Hopefully tonight, but no promises, me. But yeah, so there's some thoughts about stuff. And yeah, NP subs are a thing now. That was just a little stealth update Albert did, which was just like, hey, yo, after this panel is done, mic drop, you're gonna get NP subs tonight. And it happened. And
people will not shut up about it.
No, I tweeted it at everyone. I was like, hey, attention everyone. We know NP subs are a thing. It's cool now. You don't need to say it. Which we've done a couple of times when people just get unfortunately obnoxious because they're the first time they see it, they dive right into the Discord. It's maybe not the first thing they can see to talk about, and they're just like, oh my god, guys, did you see NP subs? And I'm just like, yes, we saw it already. Everybody is super excited about it. I'll be honest, I think we've both said that we weren't super, like, we weren't hanging on our toenails or anything to get NP subs, but it's not the worst either.
No, it's I'm fine with it. I'm fine without it. Like, honestly,
like it's neat to see kind of the pacing in the moment and the you know what the exact variations are, and they did manage to make it not very obtrusive. But also, I was okay living without it. So, props to the people who wanted it and got it.
Yeah, I will say if there's one thing that bugs me about it, it's the fact that I know this is actually something that they probably couldn't do anything about, but usually servants will start talking, they'll start doing their NP line while, their NP title is still up on the screen. And it's not until that title goes away that you can see the subs, so they'll be like halfway through the sentence before you can see the subs. I'm just like,
Yeah, but hey,
because of formatting. They tried. I'm okay with it. You still, like, if you read fast, you can still get that first line. And honestly, being able to know what they say in the actual moment without me guessing with my half-baked Japanese is nice. It's nice!
Okay. Well, I think that stuff out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for me to buckle up, because I gotta teach you some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, it's time for the Salem pregame. If you want a fresh, virginal look at this chapter, go away now. But please don't, because we need watch time.
No, sorry, okay. It's just something weird happening on my computer. Okay, so, just slight tangent. I'm in my Let's Talk FGO assets. It's basically where I hold all the assets for, servants, CEs, and stuff. And I just save them there, because you never know when they come in handy. I'm scrolling through, I look at my Carmilla folder. There is clearly not, Carmilla Ascension, art in the preview. But I open it, and it's nothing but the Carmilla Ascension art. So I'm trying to figure out, where is this random-ass image coming up in the preview? Carmilla, are you spooking me?
I've had that happen to me before with stuff, where it just kind of...
excuse, I am concerned.
Yeah, it's just... I've done that sometimes where it's like I accidentally save, a podcast or something in an image folder, and even when you move it, it's like, why is this thumbnail in here forever, Windows? Why?
Clearly, it's because Fue just made some spicy Carmilla art as of 5 hours ago, and it's on my brain. I am infected.
But alright, so... Yeah. They teased it, not the date, but they teased that it will be coming at the finale panel of Anime NYC when they announced Thanksgiving. So that was the end of the FGO USA tour. So, Heretical Salem, that's the official titling, marks our fourth and final epic of Remnant, and it has its own interesting tricks and tips. So, to start off, casters will get your bonus EXP for this chapter, thus completely fucking over anybody who wanted to use all the same servants for bonus EXP all the way through, because they are mutually exclusive. Because it's, Shinjuku is evil, Agartha is female, Shimoza is knights, and then Salem is casters, so it is literally not possible. Now, technically, because Tammo has both a knights and a caster variant, you could use Tammo in all of them, just that's not a real thing. Okay. Well, everybody get ready for this hell, because Salem's release will have a new mat, Iron Stakes, and there will also be a new 3-star CE Soul Eating Rune, which looks cool. But yeah, so Iron Stakes are going to curse a lot of people because they're a new mat in a new chapter, and they're going to be used a lot from now on. Sorry, burped while I had to say, excuse myself. Where was I? Oh yeah, the alert makes sure to let you know that break bars and true names are still a thing, in case you didn't realize it in the past 3 of these. So, here's the first interesting thing about Salem. It's only 10 chapters long, but these will be time-locked, similar to an event story, so it'll be about 5 or 6 days before they're all available. It's something like, I think chapters 1 to 4 are fine, then there's a couple, 2 or 3 days later, 5 or 6, and then the finale the last day.
Alright, interruption here. Is it just gonna be time-locked on the initial release, or is this gonna be just time-locked whenever someone starts it?
No, this is time-locked on the initial release. They are date-locked too. They don't unlock until so many days after the chapter drops. So, theoretically in future, I don't think you have to worry. It's just a stall so that you can't beat them all at once. You got that?
Yep.
So did you catch up before I said that I think it's just time-locked physically to a date? It's not about when you start it?
Yeah, I caught that.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, so it's an interesting little system where they basically delay the first-time players a little bit, but I don't think anybody has any problem going through it later.
I wonder why they're doing that, then.
Stalling, because it's short. It's
I guess.
10 chapters. And there's a decent number of no-battle pips in here. So, it's meant to be dramatic, but not overly long. They're doing some compact writing because, the Part 1 prologue starts at the end of December this year, so they got a lot of stuff to move. Okay, so there's that. There's 11 free quests, and then here's a weird thing. There's basically a challenge quest in the story of Salem. After you clear a certain free quest, there's an extra special normal quest called Extra Play, which opens up and is formatted a lot like a CQ. We'll talk more about that later. So that's a really oddball one. But completing all of Salem will net you 21 Saint Courts and 1 Grail. So, portions of the Singularity are theater. They're staged, so certain characters will be playing other roles than normal. And I think they threw this up in the original announcement just so people don't get confused. Some of the characters will be playing other characters in the story, okay?
People are still going to get confused.
They are, but we warned you.
Mm-hmm.
So, primary NPC support, not like weird roles or other unique stuff, comes to you in the flavor of Sanson, Nezha, Robin Hood, Matahari, Caster of Okeanos, and Caster of Midrash. Though there's a few more scattered for some unique battles. But those are your primaries. And the main gimmick of Salem is that certain fights are what I will call low power. The enemies are pretty weak, but your party's level and attack power is halved.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so, you'll fight some nodes that in Salem, a final EOR, have bosses that are under 200k HP, but your team and also NPC supports will have their level and attack halved. There's some weird ones we'll get to in a sec, but generally the fights are pretty basic and simple. They're not very high HP. Expect a lot of caster and assassin bosses. The primary oddball, and obviously I don't know why, because it's a story thing, but the primary oddball is Chapter 5, which is going to involve multiple battles, a series of runs at various combinations of the genres, using supports from various chapters of the story. They retain their normal classes, so Pack BB and an Avenger. In the final bout, each genre has a supporting cast member who buffs her with resistance to a card type. For instance, in one wave of the fight, you will fight Santa Lily Jean and Santa Mask, who gives her resistance to quick cards. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm really interested to read what that chapter is, so I don't know what the story reason why, but that's a really interesting setup. Because you're basically going through story chapters in your support. In one of them, it's like Kyo and Nero, I think, are your supports, and then in another, it's like Lancer Artoria and Lancelot Saber and stuff like that. It's really weird.
Huh.
So for mobs, you're going to see a decent amount of cavalry. There are a few new ones. Wolves are a pretty basic rider-type mob. They drop seeds if you're looking for more seed gets, but it's not a huge deal. And then there's the Ghoul/Elder Ghoul combos. They drop the new Iron Stake mats and are Berserker or Assassin, respectively, and they are demonic/undead, if you're curious. And then we have a new caster mob who drop feathers, Shantax, which, if you don't know, Shantak birds are an H.P. Lovecraft thing, and these are demonic beast enemies. So, that's super fun. But hey, more feathers.
Squawk, motherfucker.
So, Salem will also introduce a new class, Foreigner. Foreigners are strong versus themselves and berserkers, but weak to alter egos. There will be several Foreigner boss fights in Salem, just so you know. And in case you couldn't tell from all that, alter egos are going to be pretty primo in Salem, so bring your own robot. You've heard of bring your own beer? Bring your own robot.
BYOR.
The extra play quest is basically like an extended CQ. It involves several serious battles with special conditions and break bars. There will be a big fight against Nezha, which has a couple of break bars. And then Gesundheit. And then the finale will be a battle against Asterios and Eurale with break bars. I believe it's Journey to the West themed, but yes, they made the boss Asterios and Eurale, which is adorable. And so the Salem 1 banner is just Nezha and Okeanos Caster, so that's only 2 4-stars who are both permanent. And Salem Campaign 2 will start about a week later and is Midrash Caster and Abigail, who's the first playable Foreigner. So yeah, that's basically Salem. It's pretty short. The only reason why people probably won't complete it all on the first day is the time locks. And maybe the text, I don't know. It could be pretty texty, but it seems like a short, sweet, kind of got some weird themes. Me personally, I'm very interested to read it, because it sounds like it's going to be doing a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, like, don't underestimate that text. Like, yesterday, while I was in bed, I decided to go reread all of Babylonia cutscenes. I started from where the anime left off to the end. Yeah, that took me 4 hours of reading.
Shit. Natsu said how many words it was. It's a lot of words. It's, like, is it like, it's like 40,000 or 60,000 or something?
Yeah, no. So Babylonia, like as...
I think Lucky dropped again. Yeah, so you cut out in the middle of speaking.
Yeah. I totally forgot what I was talking about because I was, again, a little heated. See, normally I don't actually mind that my computer just randomly crashes on me. Normally. But when I'm 1, in the middle of recording, and 2, working on something that hasn't been fucking saved yet, I might get a little fucking heated.
We were talking about how fucking long Babylonia is.
Yeah, so, yeah, so, like, as I said, there was a lot of goddamn text. It took me 4 hours to read, a constant read. I had to take no breaks. I just laid in bed. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read all this shit again. Because I wanted to, like, get an idea of, like, the script differences between the anime and the actual chapter. And I was like, I looked at the clock, it's like, alright, it's 12:40 at night. When I got done, I looked over the clock, it was like 4:30ish. I was like, god damn. It was a lot. So I'm kind of hoping that Salem is going to be the same way. I do know that some people were kind of, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but not too keen on Shimosa's, big text writing moments, dropping a lot of exposition and detail.
Yes,
like at your real fast. Yeah. But me personally, I like those kind of things. It's like,
yeah, I think it just it made it work, even though I liked the content. It was still a little bit like, okay, Nasi, you couldn't have used some more paragraph break or something? Whew.
Oh man, you must reading a Babylonian's like, oh no, man, fucking no, Natsu does not know the phrase, take a breath. It's I'll go all the time. But they actually remind me of some interesting things that some people might have forgotten that I'm kind of hoping that might get shown in the anime. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we talk about the anime.
Yep. We'll talk about anime stuff.
Yep. But that's later.
Yes, that is later, because we have concluded our Salem pregame. That's the Salem's. It's going to be, hopefully, an interesting talk about some fun stuff. Gonna get some new mobs, get a new class, all that jazzed. And then it's time to transition into Teach Me Omega Sensei, because we still haven't been going an hour. Which is saying something, because we faffed a lot.
Don't worry, there'll be more faffing at the end.
But, so the topic that was chosen this month is, what do we know about Grand Servants? Hey, guess what? This isn't going to be that long either. I was able to do both of these notes today, this afternoon, and still watch the new episode of The Mandalorian before we recorded. But yeah, so it's time to talk about Grand Servants. Because it was chosen. So, like I said, probably be pretty short, but here's what we know. So, Grand Servants, or Grand Class, are heroic spirits of the highest caliber summoned by the counterforce directly to combat a threat to all mankind, like a beast. Now, you may wonder to yourself, why don't these motherfuckers show up whenever we have to deal with these problems? Usually I think it's either because it's a singularity, which by itself effectively cuts things off from the counterforce and stuff, or it's because the counterforce didn't need the Grand to deal with this problem, they sent us instead.
Yeah, like, slight tangent. You have to remember, the counterforce will only use just as much power as is needed to solve a problem.
If it can preserve mankind by just sending a single counter guardian, because let's not imply that, like, counter guardian Emiya is not like Grand Archer as far as we know.
No.
It's just, he is one of many heroic spirits that the counterforce through the Throne of Heroes can just huck through time to deal with problems.
Yeah, Lucky might have been doing a lot of Nasuverse reading lately, so it's on his mind.
Yeah. So, the Holy Grail ritual we know is a modification of a ritual which summons the 7 Grand Servants for a specific purpose. We don't need to get into the Holy Grail War stuff right now. That's a different bullet point that we're going to record, but this was explained in London. But just know that that one is described as a 7-way battle, a 7 on all kind of thing, whereas Grand Servant summoning is explicitly 7 on 1. So, yeah. The whole Holy Grail system is supposed to be kind of a slight corruption of this original Grand Servant summoning. Grands, which the rank of Grand is subtitled in Japanese as the Station of the Crown, because Nasu loves titles within titles.
Mm-hmm.
They are selected from the most powerful heroic spirits, falling into the original 7 classes of the summoning system. They are said to be the pinnacle of heroic spirits, the very tippity top. So, different Grand titles may have different qualifications. Of the known Grand Caster candidates, Solomon, Merlin, Gilgamesh, each of them possesses an incredibly high clairvoyance capability, which is actually described in Babylonia, the differences.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not known if the other classes have this kind of requirement. I would assume so, but it's not elucidated, so we work with what we got. If a Grand loses or abdicates their rank, a suitable replacement is selected. Now here's a fun fact. According to FGO materials, Merlin is now confirmed as holding the rank of Grand Caster after Solomon, but he's also still alive, so don't ask me how that works. But if Merlin introduces himself as Grand Caster, he's not technically bragging.
Maybe it's because he's technically not... He's on the reverse side?
Yeah,
I don't know. As I said, like, Nasuverse shit is weird. Like, you gotta remember, Merlin was only able to appear in fucking Babylonia because technically he did not exist then.
Right, he's like, so it's the past, so you could say that I'm dead because I don't exist. And you're just like... I think Fujiwara literally says, oh yes, this makes sense.
So,
it doesn't,
like,
roll with it.
So Merlin knows some sort of time fuckery bullshit, and he is kind of scumbaggy, so if he knows a loophole, he'll fucking use it. So, I'm willing to let it fucking slide.
But yes, he is officially, technically, the Grand Caster. So, Grand Servants are very powerful. We've seen this. This is not due, however, to their inherent nature as heroic spirits being greater. As we've seen in Babylonia, regular-ass Merlin is not necessarily any stronger than anybody else. He's still a caster, and he sucks at fighting.
He was also diverting his power to do something else. So,
well, yeah, he's working on multiple projects, but as seen, his normal container doesn't really do anything extra. When they're summoned by the ritual, Grand Servants are summoned in a much more potent Saint Graph, which is thus inherently stronger than a normal servant. This makes sense. They are summoned by the counterforce directly, not human mages. A lot of vanilla servants, especially in non-Grand Order works, have limitations because there's only so much magic power mages in the modern era can use before they just explode and die. Like Bleh. Lancelot's master. Bleh. Bleh. Oh no, it's too much. I'm gonna die at a dramatically appropriate moment. Bleh.
Worms.
Additionally, this also follows because the nature of beasts, which we've covered in a previous episode, have exceptionally powerful Saint Graphs. So if 7 Grand Servants would need to fight one, they need to be of a higher caliber. In my mind, this is kind of similar to the nature of High Servants, which BB created by combining multiple Saint Graph data together. So she took the records of multiple high-level entities, some of which were divine spirits, and made them into one creation, her High Servants. So this is kind of thematically similar, I think. Nasu's the kind of guy who would go back and say, yes, these are linked. But you look at that crazy mushroom and you're like, you had no fucking idea this was a thing 10 years ago. And he just stares at you with those star eyes, and you're just like, fuck. What is a Saint Graph, you ask? Still not entirely sure. Still don't know. I'll let you know as soon as I find out. If somebody can read JP, tell me what the original text is. Is it literally Saint Graph, or is it something else, like how Noble Phantasm is just sacred treasure or whatever? My best etymology brain is that saint, as in a holy figure, because the general Japanese don't really understand Catholicism and sainthood. And then graph is a visual measurement, like a seismograph. So, i.e., it's a physical measurement or record of the heroic spirit is the Saint Graph. It's the physical thing we have that's recorded of the servant's data. So I'm just like, It's not clear. We sure like to say it a lot, but we don't like to explain it. It's like a craft essence. What is that? I don't fucking know. I don't know. It's a thing to help servants, I guess.
It's a crystallization of a memory? I don't know.
Why are some craft essences people, but some are tools? Whatever. So, here's our known Grand Servant tier entities. Solomon was previously Grand Caster, now Merlin is. First Hassan was Grand Assassin, unknown replacement. Because obviously, if they automatically pick a replacement, if he's no longer Grand Assassin, that means there's a new one. So, interestingly, Matt's and stuff suggests that Hassan actually stops being Grand around the moment he decides to aid us in Camelot. He just doesn't use up all his extra juice until Babylonia. So, technically, he leaves the position of Grand, the station of the crown, when he decides to throw in with us in Camelot. He just doesn't get around to using up all his extra magical energy until he does the thing in Babylonia. But Lucky, you might be able to speak to this, I felt like the original text of Babylonia implied that he did not stop being Grand until Babylonia chapter.
Yeah. Basically he says, like, I don't need this, title anymore. And, goes fiery speech on Tiamat.
Yeah, so it's unclear what the exact order of operations is there. Just, it happened. He's not Grand Assassin anymore. So, here's another interesting one. Qin Shi Huang in Lost Belt 3 is said to have a Saint Graph like a Grand. He's a Lost Belt King, but he is not a Grand, because he's classed as a ruler in the game, so that's not how that works. But just another... I think this is just Nasu power level bullshit, but we'll see if it turns into a thing. And also, one of the cryptors, Time, who are our antagonists for Lost Belt, Daebit Sem Void, is said to possess a Grand Servant of an unknown class. He, she, or it appears as a cloaked figure in story, and is said to be a Grand. That's all we know.
God damn it.
So, clearly Nasu hasn't forgotten about Grands, because Daebit is I think he's... The names are terrible, but I think that's the 7th guy, so that would be the very last Lost Belt, probably, maybe. Mm-hmm. So, it's not like we've forgotten about him, it just doesn't come up very much. We will see. Like, I know a lot of people thought when Part 1 ended that, future parts would be like, oh, we're gonna reveal who all the Grands are. I don't know if we'll do that. I think it's just a concept Nasu created to explain lots of things in the lore and set up, like I said, power level bullshit. Oh, we can't just punch Gaetia Solomon because he says he's Grandcaster, so we have to, build up to him. And then it turns out, oh shit, he's actually Beast 1, which is even bigger than Grand. Ooh.
So clearly this means we're gonna need a beast to fight that Grand. Clearly.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's another one of those things where it's like, I don't necessarily know where the story is going in this direction, but it's a concept, it's introduced, there's your checklist. Ta-da. That's all the stuff. Oh, also, Panda's been muted. We should say that we're done with the thing, because we were done with that a while ago.
Yeah. Let's see.
But yeah, so that's the overall thoughts. The data on Grands is a little sketchy, but it exists.
Well, Well, yeah, it's kind of weird because we've gone against, like, technically I want to say 4 beasts, and I think we've only seen 2 Grands in the situation, so Grands are kind of this ephemeral existence, almost.
They're supposed to be doing stuff, but they're not, so, I don't know. I don't really know if Merlin has even appeared in story since part 1 ended either, so.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things where we're not. It's a concept, we know it's coming back, because they're not forgotten in Part 2, Lost Belt, but also, spoiler alert, Lost Belts have not been like, and you get a Grand, and you get a Grand, Grands everywhere, fight all these Grands.
Woo!
Like I said, it seems like they're trying to set up for a little bit of a power tier argument that, like, no one servant alone could hope to beat a Grand, but if you all team up, you can beat Grand level enemies. But we've already punched up a level and fought multiple beasts, so that's all writing stuff that'll come out as we start soldiering through Lost Belts. Soon, kids, soon. The prologue is this year, and then we have to wait like 4 months.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Part 2 pacing is all over the place. But we're gonna get 2 this year in Japan, so that's a plus, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. But alright, so that's Teach Me Omega Sensei for this week. It's not time to do the poll yet, but the next poll will be currently between what is the Moon Sail and what is a Grail War and how do they work. So if you're interested in how this Grand Servant thing became the Holy Grail War, if you're a patron at the 5 and up level, you can vote in those polls. Those happen once a month. And we'll host a new poll in December and work through that stuff. And after that point, after December, we can probably start taking some Lost Belt-related topics, because we'll actually be introduced to the concept. But otherwise, as always, we're open to suggestion if you want more exposition for Teach Me Omega Sensei.
Do we want to do a timeline?
What sort of timeline?
I don't know, like, I've been reading around, it's like, apparently there's a lot of details of what's, like, led up to, like, these situations, you know, like, starting with, the White Titan, Gilgamesh, and the Age of Gods.
Yeah, if I could find a clean timeline of the Nasuverse, we could talk about some of the dates for some important things.
It might get a little complicated if we try to, like, include, like, things where things branch off, but it could be interesting.
We could at least focus on stuff we know happened in FGO.
Yeah. Because we can talk about, like, how, like, the differences between the, like, FGO only happened because, the Einsburns didn't summon,
Yes, they clearly didn't summon
Avenger, which means it wasn't corrupted, which means fucking Maresbury was actually able to win it.
And get his wish.
But in the other timeline, because they corrupted it, he was all like, nah, fuck that, which led to the Fate Stay Night route. It's like, there's a lot of weird
if they summoned a ruler instead, that would have led to Apocrypha.
Yeah, so it's like...
Yeah, so I'll put that in as what is the FGO timeline.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because we do actually know a decent number of dates about some stuff from both FGO itself and other works, like what year Maresbury won the Holy Grail War and set up certain technologies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All
and
right.
I think that'd be interesting.
Sure, we'll put it to a vote as always. And Lucky as always is our tiebreaker. So
Flex.
If it comes to a tie, he gets a pick.
Double bicep.
All right, so we're at just over an hour. That means it's time to start talking about Babylonia this week.
Woo!
Big Snake Lady Mountain.
Yep.
Very big Snake Lady.
Maximum gonna step on you, face.
I think even bigger than her sprite is in game. They went all out.
I have to appreciate this anime for actually being able to put things in the fucking scale.
Yes, they did very well, because, like, yes, Gorgon's tail was that long in her boss form, but...
Well, no, because actually, going back to that, they actually state in the Babylonian that her tail is over 100 meters long.
Yes, it's very, very long.
Very long.
But her sprite torso isn't really that huge, even in her boss form, because she still has to fit on screen. But, no, when she appears at the end of episode, what is it? Is this 7 or 8? I don't remember anymore. Time space continuum. I don't know. But she is super large. Like, Enkidu flies up next to her. He's probably about as tall as her head. You know? He would comfortably fit inside one of Gorgon's giant boobies. Because she's fucking huge. And she's not all CG either. Her hair is definitely CG, and so is the tail. But in certain background shots, it's all CG. But when they're doing close up and speech work, it's traditional animation cells.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, shout out to Yu Asakawa, who is both Anna for obvious reasons and Gorgon. Very, very different voice tones.
Mm-hmm.
Though they did filter Gorgon a little because she's huge and echoey. But we should probably talk about this episode in order.
Yeah.
So cold open, we start with a dream, which actually I think last week, Lucky, you called that there was another weird Fujimaru dream coming.
Well, yeah, because they didn't so much preface it in the episode, but yeah, after you get the Tablet of Destinies, it gives you some Gil basically says, all right, I need you to go check out what this tablet's about. It's like, it's not for my eyes, it's for yours. But
yeah, they kind of brush over that in this.
Yeah.
Oh, it so happened that after you delivered the tablet and looked at it, you passed out. But the cold open is narrated by Solomon. We get a flashback which describes a theoretical king, but it's very obvious from the visuals. It's not Gil, it's Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
And then interestingly enough, this kind of happens to explain the mechanics of the Grand Order and the Singularities and why shit is fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
As he gets cool shit, and we see the fucking Time Throne, the Throne of the Temple of Time. You know, lots of lead up. By the way, apparently there's a rumor going around that there's going to be a 3-part OVA for Time Temple.
Rumors are rumors.
Yeah, rumors are rumors. Show me a production note and I'll believe it. I would love that, but also, it didn't happen until it happened. I think we might be a little too early to even start considering that because this anime is going to be 2 cours. And they're putting a lot of work into it, so I don't know if we're ready for pre-production on an OVA follow-up yet. I'd love it, but rumors. So Mash is super concerned. Merlin is there. Judging by what we see later, he was probably peeping on Fujimaru's dreams, like he is,
like he do.
But he doesn't say anything about it. But just they have a conversation about the stuff. He mentions Majutsu Soro a couple of times, and then it's like, okay, well, here's the brief. And exactly as I thought, yeah, there was the dream, and then this happened. So it's like, okay, there's a fortress city north of the wall. We're gonna go to the wall. There's gonna be a distraction. We're gonna save those people. Spoilers: they did not save those people.
Nope.
This is when Babylonia starts to get rough, as it were.
Before that, though, we
get Leonidas time.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, we got Leonidas time.
Really good. So, Leonidas, is out there with the troops. We stop off at the wall. Some demonic beasts, whatever the special name for soul eaters is in Babylonia, burst through the gate, and we get action sequence where Leonidas throws and spears things. His guys adopt phalanx tactics, and they survive. A formation of guys is actually able to throw up a shield wall and stop a demonic beast and kill it, which is cool. It's good they added that little detail. This was almost assuredly a fight in the game where you would have had to fight some random enemies that jump the fence or whatever. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get a little bit of talk time. There's a great screen cap, which everybody has been memeing. But yeah, so let's see. We linger a decent amount of time at the wall. We talk with Leonidas. We talk about his stuff.
Well, yeah, like, as I said, reading from the script, Leonidas lays down some heavy, it's okay to be fucking scared. Take a deep breath, do what you can, one step at a time. Again, they kind of abbreviated in the anime, which I've noticed they've been doing a lot, is...
Yeah, but also, when you can also show through motion,
Yeah.
Like, it's just enough for him to say, okay, take a deep breath, you relax your muscles, and then the characters, in animation, take a deep breath and relax. Whereas in visual novel style, you probably need a couple of extra lines of dialogue in there to actually, yes, you did it, good.
Also, interestingly enough, in the Babylonia chapter, Leonidas actually has a habit of taking off his helmet before he starts talking to people. It's interesting. Didn't do quite so much right here, but
yeah. Well, faces are cool.
Faces are cool.
But yeah, so he's basically like, these are my guys, we're all forted up. Then they're like, third wave is coming. They show off the dingir and explain that they are powered by treasures from Gil's treasury. They're powered by noble phantasms, and they shoot magical energy, and they're meant to be a human invention that can fight the gods. So that's cool. They're also shown, obviously, visually to be very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Just 3 of them together, like, combo to blow up a really big square and blow up, like, dozens of demonic beasts. Then we sleep. Well, some characters sleep, but Anna and Merlin sit on the top of the wall and have a heartfelt conversation, where Merlin talks about how much of a scumbag he is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very, very interesting conversation to see played out between him and Anna, because Anna's thinking about, because Fujimaru is a cool guy, and she's like, I feel bad that I haven't told them about, her own inhumanity. And Merlin's like, well, don't. Why ruin a good thing? Why stress people out, if you're faking it good enough that they don't notice, why bother them? The kind of attitude. And he kind of explains a lot of his philosophy, because he's part incubus, so he feeds on dreams. He nom-nom-noms on Mash and Fujimaru's dreams while they're sleeping, to illustrate. And he just kind of talks about his whole worldview, basically, where he thinks humans are super interesting. Without them, he would die. So he's like, I'm not human, but I can fake it pretty good, because I need to be around humans, and they're interesting. And this conversation felt kind of weird to watch, because I was like, I'm not really sure what the goal of this is, but ultimately, Anna decides not to bring anything up and just have stuff keep going as it was, because it's, working out okay, I guess. And
I think the point is they needed something to build up to the big reveal.
Right. They're building tension.
Yeah, because, like, as I said, again, this anime should not be someone's first Fate anime. It really shouldn't.
No.
So if you go into, like, if you've been playing FGO, you should realize this small looks surprisingly familiar to someone else I know.
Yes, there are design cues, and even if you're watching the anime, you like, without playing FGO, if you know other Fate stuff, you would be like, that's the same hair color and voice actress as Medusa.
Yeah, and then I have some big secret. There's the fact that, and then when you get the big reveal of Big Snake, you're like, is this related? Anna was talking about secrets.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a little weirdly placed, but
builds tension, but yeah. And it gives us character drama, but also it feels like, as a conversation, it felt kind of pointless, because I don't think Anna decides to do nothing still, but it helps fill out the characters and, like you said, build tension.
Well, I do think that sometimes, like, doing nothing is actually a valid option.
Mm-hmm. Sure, there is a time when the correct answer is nothing. But yeah, it's a little weirdly placed, because they exposit a lot, but still. Then we do the mission.
Save. Sorry.
Yep, did her save. Ushi is there. She is super happy to be there. She's like, we're gonna hang out later. I'm gonna go kill stuff. And then she goes and kills stuffs.
Behold, Berserker Ushi face.
Yeah, she's got her Blood Rage face on, as she mocks the enemy for being even shittier than her enemy's cavalry, than their horses.
Their pack horses, specifically.
Yes. Which I'm pretty sure means that Ushi has canonically killed a horse or two. I'm not shocked. But yeah, so, she says that those beasts are weaker than, keeping in mind that Japanese horses were not ever super impressive.
No, they were actually very short and
yes, they would be thought of as ponies in a lot of cases. But yeah, so she says that those guys are even more scrubbed than her enemy's pack animals. And then after she kills a shitload, she's like, I'm gonna get a pat on the head after this.
Like, yeah, you are, Ushi.
Benkei does some stuff. He spins spears a lot. And it reminds you that he's a guy, I guess. He's still got his weird face thing going on, so.
Yeah.
But Merlin, Anna, Fujimaru, Mash, and their team, they've got a squad with them, enter the city, and it's full of blood. Oh my.
Well, now, interestingly enough, this was something that I don't know, was fully explained in the chapter or the anime. But prior to, like, this, Benkei, or was it Wakamaru? One of the two mentions that,
if I remember rightly, it's a throwaway line of dialogue. Yeah. In both cases, where she's like, I can't go with you, King Gilgamesh forbid me from going into that city.
Yeah, and, like, in the chapter they mentioned, we made a promise, and they never actually explained what that promise was. So I'm kind of like,
Well, obviously, us with our advanced clairvoyance, Gil also can see the future, so he knows that if she goes to that city, something bad will happen, but either he did not understand Ushi correctly, or he did not realize how bad things would be. He just was like, yo, dog, there's a bad outcome if you go here.
Yeah, so...
But yeah, so basically that's why we had to split up. They went with the party, and in fact, actually, there's an important point before we get into the city, or maybe about when we're getting there. Ushi and Benkei have a talk, which is like, hey, aren't these guys, like, super weak? Did they see they are falling for our distraction too well? Oh no, they're not at all. They're, there's not enough of them. Something is clearly going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then we snap to the city where it's like, we're looking around, it's like, all the people are gone. Oh gee, where's this trail of blood lead? Oh hey, it's fake Enkidu. Merlin constantly dunks on him all the time. Maximum oversass. But yeah, basically, so Enkidu is like, yo, it was a trap. Everybody's dead, Dave. And you're like, shit, everybody's dead. Fujimaru is not happy about this. So they get ready to fight-o. He says that their blood was used to create an even better creation, because he says that Tiamat's gonna make a new humanity who's gonna be even better, foreshadowing later shit. But first he summons the first Ugalu? I think is the lion one?
Yep, Ugalu.
Which Merlin is like, has the most anime-ass exposition line. That's an Ugalu, it's the Lion of the Sun, one of Tiamat's largest creations. Which I don't think is true, because aren't one of her creations a fucking dragon? But
yeah.
We'll see later. We'll see later if that comes up. But yeah, so the giant sun lion comes out, it spits some sunballs at people. Anna gets into the fight. At first she's like, heh, you're scrubbed here, but then she bonks it on the head and she's like, this will be harder. So Merlin decides to do something for once, and shows off his skills, so he buffs Anna, which, by the way, after all, every servant has at least one buster card, which is probably what Anna used to just cut that giant mob down in one blow. And he explodes into purple blood. But then Enkidu is like, yo dog, I don't like you, I'm gonna chain you up. And pops her in the chains, and he's like, okay, I'ma squish ya. Which Merlin's response is not to do anything dramatic, but he just, cause he's been arguing with Foe the whole time. Foe's been like riding on Merlin's shoulder a lot and like poking him, doing stuff, but he's like, okay, Cathpillig, you've got magical energy saved up. Now would be a good time for you to do something. Which, you can almost sense that Foe is like, me, motherfucker? Me? Okay, fine.
How dare?
I'll do something. So Foe coronas or stars up. I don't know if that's a 3 or 4, probably a 3-star Foe. And teleports Anna out, which shocks the shit out of Enkidu. Lucky, you read this part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this how that happened in the original script? Because
yeah,
I know
actually,
that.
What? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just like, I don't remember it exactly happening that way. I know Anna has to leave the scene for reasons.
Yeah, no. Merlin basically says, Cathpillig, do something. He specifically says, I know you got energy. I won't get mad.
Yeah.
So
I won't get mad.
But yeah, so at that point, Foe Sprite just goes Foe, scoots over Anna sprites, and they both teleport out.
All right. So it was probably just because it wasn't very visually interesting.
Yeah.
But so this seems to set off an event because now that Anna is gone, something seems to be stirring. And, like we said earlier, boy howdy, the scale of this.
Yeah, actually, another scene they mix. Actually, this whole situation actually caused a big earthquake. So big that Ushiwakamaru and Benkei felt it. And they're like, is this an earthquake? They're like, no, something is tunneling under the ground.
Yeah, they kind of phase over that because it's implied, because the ground starts shaking, and there is a shot of Ushi and Benkei being like, what the fuck is that? But not like, oh my god, something's tunneling toward us at a rapid case. Enkidu just says, is she really coming out? This is too much.
Yeah.
Like, he freaks out a little bit to let you know that something big is coming, and then, honestly, like I said, doing a better job of showing than telling because they can, the mountain just fucking explodes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, just the top half of the city just cracks, debris goes everywhere, smashes down into everything, creates a huge plume. This is about the time when Ushi decides, I'm gonna go into that city and help out the master, and Benkei's like, no, you can't do that, King Gilgamesh told you not to, and Ushi's like, fuck you, I make my own rules.
Fuck you, I'm on head pats.
Specifically, she says, the way she phrases it is, Fujimaru Dono called me Tomo, friend. What kind of samurai am I if I would betray a friend?
Oh, she's such a good girl.
Yeah, so, following her honor, she charges into battle, but doesn't arrive yet. But, Big Snake Lady Mountain rises up out of the ground, like I said, and they have some tracking shots for comparison. Gorgon is fucking huge. She's taller than this fortress city on a hill. Like, goddamn. Well,
I know we're kind of saying it for spoiler reasons, but she does not name herself as Gorgon.
That's true. We're saying it because we know that she's Gorgon, but she introduces herself as Tiamat, and that's probably why she is quite so large. Because she is borrowing Tiamat's energy, but she introduces herself as Tiamat, and this Tiamat Gorgon is enormous. She unfurls her wings, and like they're huge. You know, her snake heads look like they could eat a human up.
Nom.
So it's just like, immediately, Leonidas did not train these guys hard enough. Apparently demonic beasts are okay, but a giant snake lady, fuck this, I'm out. Several of them get crushed though, but, they book it. Fujimaru and Mash stand strong, and she looks down and she's like, oh, is this the final master of humanity? Well, I guess I'm just gonna eat you. You might not, what did she say? It's something like, you might not be very tasty, but you sure are a delicacy. I'm not really sure that sounds like an idiom that doesn't translate good.
Well, I guess it's one of those, I guess it's one of those things of...
It definitely feels like a Nasuism, right?
Well, it's like, you know, like in some countries, they eat weird-ass shit that you normally wouldn't, but...
Right. I guess the implication is that, compared to what else she's eating, humans are not very tasty, but you sure are still rare. Before our protagonists can run, she freezes them, with her killing intent, which is that is a thing. She's not using her mystic eyes yet, but she just freezes them in spot with her intimidation.
What Merlin basically uses is Jagon, which means snake eyes.
Yeah.
Which is basically that myth where a snake can freeze its prey just by looking at it.
Yeah. But like I said, I think this is just a killing intent thing. She just looks at them and they're paralyzed by the weight of it until, Mash is like, oh shit, we're gonna get et. She turns to Master. Master's just like, take a deep breath, Mash. You won't not be scared, but it'll loosen up your muscles. And then they both do a deep, and then, Gorgon's like, while the credits start to play, by the way, Tiamat Gorgon is like, omoshiroi, and then it's boom, hard cut. So I'm super stoked for the next episode.
Yeah, as I said, if I'm going by what the Babylonia chapter has to say, it's gonna be the first initial battle with Gorgon, and then Ushi is gonna come to save the day. And we should get...
Yeah, that's probably not gonna work right away.
Yeah, it's not gonna work right away. There are definitely some... Like I said, there should be some, like, at the best, there's gonna be some bitchin' ass fight scenes. Because there's some lines, of Gorgon, how dare you run along my tail? I'm like, I wanna see that.
Oh yeah, no, Ushi's gonna run up her tail. Maybe cut off a snake head, Yeah,
she's actually gonna use one of her special attacks, the Wandering Tales of Shana O second part. Do some mad stuff. As I said, I don't know exactly where it's gonna end. It honestly depends on how far the pacing goes.
Yeah, because we could run all the way through Gorgon's chapter, like the multiple battles and losses and her actually attacking the wall, which is when she drops the ultimatum, but I don't know if we will. We only have 21 episodes, so we might get that far.
Yeah, like honestly, like if I was a betting man, which I kind of am, I would say that's where we're gonna end. Like this entire next episode is gonna be all Gorgon fucking your shit up and being like this almost near invincible entity. And
then she's gonna like, we're gonna escape behind the wall. She's gonna yell her ultimatum. What is it? Is it a week or 10 days?
10 days.
Yes, in 10 days, I will come and destroy your wall. And I hope to God that's the shot they use. 10 days remain.
Well, interestingly enough, as a slight, like again, I'm gonna give you slight spoilers. Remember, it's not Gorgon who initially makes the call. Enkidu is like basically shows up and like, nah, mom. We should like wait until we're ready. And Tiamat's just like, good idea, my son. All right, you fuckers, 10 days. But like because of the situation, the countdown doesn't actually start until 7 days.
Because you have to take 3 days to get back.
Yeah.
Either way, I hope at the end of the episode they start showing the countdown and they integrate it into the show, because that's a very powerful effect in game. So I can't see them skipping that.
No, I hope not.
And then what's the order of operations? Ketz is going to show up first and punch guys, right?
No.
First
you're gonna go. I guess spoilers. First, you're gonna go get Ishtar.
Okay, so first we hire Ishtar, then Ketz shows up and just like, I'm in your base, punching your dudes.
Yeah, because basically, immediately after he does that, you basically have to rush to the jungle.
Right, and then you chase her down, and then when we come back from the jungle, it's, oh shit, the king is dead.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like I said, playing a lot of these sections again, I'm like, oh my god, are we gonna see Tiny Ishtar?
I hope to God we are, because it's still shown on public television, so they still can't do the real version of the myth.
Yeah, but here's the second part. How are they gonna handle the fucking gates?
Montage probably. They'll probably ask the questions. Or something like them.
Because
I'm still super curious how we'll do fighting Eresh. Will that be because there's no reason for her to turn into a giant ghost. Will they actually showcase her fighting style?
I don't know.
They really should, because they can. But we'll see.
Actually, does she turn back into the giant ghost when she does her first fight? I think. Yeah, because that's what it was. I think that's what it was. She fucking... I can't remember, off the top of my head, even though I literally just watched this yesterday. But when you fight Eresh, at first she's, looks like the giant ghost mob. But then, she turns back, and you're just like, yeah, no, I do it all the time. Fluster Eresh is best Eresh, excuse you all. But I think for the actual battle in game, she turns back into a giant ghost. I don't know. I honestly don't know if they'll do that.
They probably will not, because I think the reason why they turned her into a giant ghost is because when they were originally writing the story, they weren't 100% sure who Eresh was going to be, and that she was a relatively late addition, and I don't think they knew that she was going to be playable for a while. So, obviously, it was a stopgap to be like, okay, we're not going to have her playable assets done, so she isn't in game, so we have to make up a bullshit fight, and it's always a giant ghost for some reason.
Yeah, so order of operations is basically, Gorgons, battle with Gorgon, Gorgon's ultimatum. Gil's gonna be like, this is a problem. We're gonna need some goddesses on our side. Go get Ishtar. Here, I'll give you 30% of my fucking treasury.
And then we're gonna go up the mountain. That'll probably be a whole episode. Ketz is hopefully 2 episodes.
Well, yeah, Ketz actually might be 3, I want to say. Because it's gonna be going, it's gonna be your initial encounter with Ketz, going through the jungle where you'll once again encounter Jaguar Man. And I just as I'm reading through this stuff, they're like, there's some, again, I know we're being kind of skipping the jokes, but do you remember how you convert Jaguar Man to your side?
Not off the top of my head.
You compliment her once.
That'll probably stay. That's really easy to do with dialogue.
Yeah, literally, it's all now that I look at you, you're I'm Adlin. It's it's we need to get Jaguar Man on the stand, and Jaguar Man's like, there's no way I'll betray Kuka. There's nothing you can do. And it's now that I look at you, you're very beautiful. And Jaguar Man just pauses, that's it. I've decided. From this moment, I'm on your side. I am totally on your side right now. And I'm just like, oh my fucking god.
That'll probably be in the anime, because that's really easy to pull off. And like we said, Jaguar Man is not a serious character.
Yeah.
Even when she's kicking everybody's ass, she's still doing her dumb attack names.
Yeah, also, apparently there's another, after that there was another banner where Jaguar Man goes full ascension to fucking mob boss, Taiga.
They probably will save that for the climax.
Yeah.
When she gets serious about rescuing Ketz.
Yeah, but then you go to the city, you're you talk to the soldiers and all that crazy stuff, because that's one thing is going to take a little bit long. There's a little bit of, Ketz's walk through the fucking city it's not quick.
Yeah, okay, I could see that taking several episodes, because we have to introduce her, we have to exposit, then we have to at least montage to travel. Then there's multiple fight scenes, which they don't like to skimp on.
Yeah. There's a whole, and then there's the whole, talk with Quetz where, fucking old man is like, do not celebrate with the joyous one comes into fucking play. All the plans and all that stuff. I want to say, Quetz is probably going to take, I want to say about 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's fair.
Because also there's going to be the scenes of traveling where you get, where you're romantic,
that's right. That's going to be required to put in those nighttime interruptions with quote unquote Ishtar.
Yeah.
Because that's foreshadowing for the next arc.
Yeah. Basically they start once you've recruited, Ishtar at the very end, and then they stop basically on your way back from Ketz, because that's when, you guys decide you have to go to the fucking underworld. Mm-hmm. There's I think there's 3? Yeah, there's 3. I don't know, I hope they do them all.
They probably would, because they already did the one in
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Curse you Mesopotamian names.
Just curse you names in general.
That's fair, but if they're Mesopotamian, then it's fuck man, how do I even?
I still I know we say Lahamu, but I'm all I look at him all what's this underline underneath the H? What does that mean?
Well, they're gonna pronounce it in anime, so we'll see. Though, that also has been weird, because as we pointed out, they pronounce Enkidu Elkidu, and I'm that's a little weird. I don't know why they're doing that. Mm. Is it just because they need to, because of the way they pronounce the E? Because it's creation of N, and as far as I know, that is actually, Enuma Elish, it is the actual N sound, but we may never know.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else immediately? Yeah, no. That should be the order of operations.
Yeah, those will be super interesting. I know a lot of people are eager to see Ketz on screen.
Lucha-Nason.
And also we've got, just in general, effectively the 3 goddesses arc has a lot of some of the more interesting scenes right before the climax, because there's a lot of big moments that are going to be interesting to see. We're actually going to get to see Leonidas' NP on screen for once. Mm-hmm. And we'll see what they do, because I think anything would be better than whatever his animation is right now.
Yeah, from what I understand, him, doing Thermopylae, what do they call it?
Thermopylae and Motier?
It's basically Thermopylae is the hot gates where they did the stand, but I don't remember. Anyway, I'm supposed to he actually summons the 300 Spartans.
Yes, he actually gets 300 dudes. I think I think a non-literal translation of his NP name in Greek is Thermopylae squad goals, basically.
Yeah. But
also I'm pretty sure the context of that means that Tiamat Gorgon has I-beams.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to. I don't want to actually full on spoil what happens there, because
no, but that's going to be one of those sequences of events that with this budget is going to be really interesting to see in, like we said, these next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, I'm super excited to see what they do with Aresh, because, especially like we said, for the anime, there's no reason for her not to be herself. So, will there be a fight at all? They might be, because the show likes to have a fight scene every episode. So,
I hope we get to see, again, I know they're kind of fast, but I really need the sign of, Pixie fucking Ishtar, headbutting Gil, and almost make her fall
just make her tinier. Yeah. Just make her shrink, do a montage of the questions, and then in every shot, Ishtar is just smaller.
God, I remember this.
Pitch her up all the time a little bit, too.
I remember this from the fucking, playing it, how actual GameSpot Ishtar got smaller every single fucking time.
It was such a good little touch, but yes, support Ishtar literally gets smaller in every fight.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm wondering is because, if you all don't remember, I'm gonna spoil this, Ishtar and both Heretical have a fucking thing for the Master, even if they're not gonna fucking admit it, because that's fucking grin in a goddamn nutshell. And all the questions through the gates, which are usually supposed to, weigh a person's soul, is Heretical just literally going, who do you like better, me or Ishtar? And the game mechanic in the chapter was, if you answered Heretical, you would have an easier fucking fight. No matter what, though, you'd still have a fight, and no matter what, Ishtar would still get smaller.
Yes, because
so it's like,
the reason why is in the original one of the original Inanna Ishtar myths is Ishtar decides to go to the underworld to see her sister because she wants to steal her power.
Yeah.
She says it's just because she wants to hang out with her sister who is doomed to live in the underworld, which sucks, as we've seen.
Yeah.
But Ereshkigal is not an idiot and is super suspicious of her sister, and so is like, all right, at each of the 7 gates, I think it is, you must strip off an article of your power, because there were various pieces of her authority and tablets that represented all her mystical powers. So Ishtar has to... Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, no, it was actually just a side note. Actually, I'm reading the chapter, they actually list them all off of what the 7 garments were.
Yeah. She has to strip each at a gate, and then she arrives in Ereshkigal's court stark naked, and it's Ishtar, so she doesn't give a fuck. But then Eresh is still suspicious, and she's like, I think she catches while Ishtar's bathing, she asks her about the stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, and Ishtar tries to steal it, and she's like, no, fuck you, you die, you can't leave. And then, Ishtar is dead for a little bit, but Ishtar was clever, she left her attendant to go tattle on the gods if she didn't come back, so, after a while, some shit started to go wrong above world, so, all the gods get together and are basically like, okay, Eresh, you have to give Ishtar back. It's not cool.
I do hope they explain this a little bit of, like, I mean, they kind of have to, of why Ishtar is literally, like, OP in the underworld. Because this is actually something quite important to later plot development.
That Eresh has she has the authority, which I believe was mentioned earlier, so, because of her, she has the authority of the underworld. She's in perfect control there. But yeah, so the gods all gang up on her and make her let Ishtar go. But I don't know, I guess Ishtar flips her off or says neener neener as she leaves because Eresh is still pissed off and sends hordes of demons to take Ishtar back. To which Ishtar arrives back on the surface, chased by demons, and sees her current husband, the shepherd guy, hanging around, happy as can be, even though Ishtar was technically dead for a while, and she's like, yo, take that guy instead. And they're like, okay. And that guy got dragged up to the underworld.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why Gil does not want anything to fucking do.
Yes, Ishtar's lovers have bad habits, but also, depending on the telling of the myth, that guy was being an asshole. He was, like, literally hanging out in a hammock being fanned by women.
Yeah, that's pretty douchey, not gonna lie.
Even though his divine wife, the goddess of war and beauty, was dead, and she was like, oh no, fuck that guy. You take him. I'm not going back.
That's always the weird thing. Fucking, there's always a lot of interpretations.
But yeah, actually, because this is actually important to Space Ishtar, because her ultimate form is Astarte, which is the name given in the Bible for the collection of the gentile goddesses, i.e. all of the non-Christian, mother, love, good goddesses, the chief goddesses, which in medieval times was used as the name of a demon, Ashtaroth, which is the first ascension. The first ascension of Space Ishtar is Ashtoreth or Ashtaroth, who is a demon. The second ascension is Space Ishtar, which is just Space Dimension Ishtar. And the final one is Astarte, who is like the cosmic goddess embodiment. So that's all of those names are of basically the same goddess, just through different periods of history and categorized by different people. And I'm actually kind of shocked that Inanna has never been mentioned, because that's Ishtar's original name is Inanna, but it was it Ishtar to the later Babylonians? Might have been.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As I said, fucking deity appropriation is a big thing. Actually, it kind of comes up in, not directly like that, but in Babylonia, because basically when we reveal, there's a bunch of things, but there's also some exposition about how there's themes of how humans have a habit of always looking for the new thing, the next thing. And whenever they find a new thing, the old thing becomes obsolete and cannot exist anymore.
Right, and so they keep basically... And so for gods, because they need belief, maybe? They at least need mystery.
Yeah.
That means that they have to basically grow and change.
Or they become, or they become labeled evil and tossed aside. I'm always reminded, Battle, FGO, it's it's a fucking game probably aimed at, I would say, young adults, like teens to young adults, but it's very heavy in its topics.
Yeah, probably high school, college age, really.
Yeah. I was reading through Babylonia again, it's oh my god, there's so many Nasu, for all his Nasuism, he makes you fucking think.
Yeah.
Let me put in a...
Tweet that. We can make that an emote.
Make what an emote?
Art dump.
Let's see here. I mean, I just made 2 new emotes. One was purely selfish because I wanted it, but...
Yeah, you did.
I could probably cut out, the head and maybe the body. But I definitely could not get... I mean, it depends if you want, do you want both of them?
No, I was just thinking that the angry snake.
I could probably...
I don't know how that would scale, though.
I probably wouldn't be able to get the wings or the snake hair, and I probably have to cut off a bit of the excess bit. Also, it kind of really kills the image that the eyes are whited instead of, maybe red, because that'll make it definitely harder to see at smaller scale.
Yeah, maybe not, but it's cute. Everybody should check it out. I retweeted it. But yes, there's, like you said, there's a lot of dense stuff. Nasu does his reading, and actually, we've talked about this before, FGO has a whole research team.
Oh yeah, no, they have been, there's a lot of fucking, weird parallels and stuff, but they're no weirder than what's actually already happened in fucking mythology, honestly.
Yeah, speaking of, parallels and gods and stuff, Lost Belt 5 is going to be super interesting. Because Nasu's going to address some of these concepts directly, and I can't wait to see what happens and to see who's summonable soon. But first we have to deal with whatever the fuck is going on with Christmas.
Heck!
Heck.
Again... I am excited to see what happens with Christmas, because one, that means I'm going to get a free Nightingale. I do love my...
Yeah, that's pretty astonishing. A frickin', Nightingale-themed Christmas. Who could have guessed?
Not me. Honestly, again, but as I say, Christmases have been weird, from the beginning. Literally from the beginning.
Okay, so I think Samba Ketz was pretty much an outlier, but she was technically a villain. She was an antagonist for a while. And they did do a fun play on the fact that Carnival stuff does happen around that time of year because it's not actually winter in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Something we know well from other things. Jean Santa Lily was basically a parody of themselves.
Yeah. It was basically the eternal rivalry between fucking...
Right, and the joke about the constantly expanding Saberface roster.
Yeah.
The first Christmas was literally, I think, just Takeuchi was like, Nasu, I drew Christmas Saber. Please put her in game. And then now we're getting our third Christmas servant, and it's... yeah, like we said, shit got weird.
Honestly, if it's, actually, a Christmas carol.
Lucky cut out there, but I believe he was talking about it being a Christmas carol.
Alright.
So comedy comes in threes. But you were talking about a Christmas carol before.
Yeah, if it's actually a Christmas carol, I actually think Nightingale is a surprisingly apt candidate. As a berserker normally, she literally has one thing on the mind, and that is healing, to the excess of all the others. So you can kind of say she
we are getting all 3 of the previous welfares as bonus servants, so...
yeah,
it could be the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future. Actually, it's 4 now, isn't it? Because it's... Samba Ketz is there, too.
Yeah. So, like I said, who knows, maybe this is literally, maybe it's Nightingale being all I don't give a fuck about Christmas, and then it's all the past Christmas both parents are let's take you on a fucking magical journey. Come on, Master, and you're just be what, why, no, oh god. Actually, not. As again,
that is how most Christmases go, I think. We'll have to see with this new one that's upcoming, but...
Yeah, I don't know how Santa goes, but first one, it's Saber Altar.
Yeah, 1 and 2 where you're basically kidnapped. In 2 you have a little bit of a choice because obviously there's the very tiny Santa Lily, but
you're voluntold you're fucking going.
Yes, you're told it's a big deal, and you're fine. It's because she's adorable and she needs help. With the first Christmas, you were literally kidnapped.
Yeah, I don't know what a Christmas from the Underworld or is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's from the Underworld. We're gonna see. It's if I remember rightly from some summaries, it's Trip. So
I'm excited, but I don't know. Again, I don't know how fucking Carnival happened. but I'm assuming that shit was weird.
Yeah, it involves a wrestling tournament, so
I don't know. But like, to be fair, I am like, unlike Halloween, it seems like we have drifted back slightly towards Christmassy theme.
Yes, we've decided we're doing a Christmas theme still, which is interesting.
Yeah. But so, like, I can definitely see some parallels between Ebenezer Scrooge and Nightingale. So I'm hoping that's the angle they're going for. Like I said, I will not say it's gonna go one way or another because I don't fucking know. How does that work?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see probably soon, but let me actually look at the dates and stuff, because we're basically done with the episode, kids. Even though it's almost 2 hours, we're almost done. But let's see. 18 million downloads and Hunting Quest Part 6 both end in 4 days-ish. So that's 3, 4. So that'll be about Wednesday. That'll probably be when they start the new thing, because that'll be the last week in November. So we'll see what happens with stuff, because a lot of people are interesting. Alright, well, I guess we should probably wrap up then, because we have been going for almost 2 hours. And I have to eat dinner and edit this. Yeah, so next week, depending on what happens, it'll be something. Hopefully, Salem initial impressions. Actually, heck, it's only like 3 or 4 days, so depending on when it comes out, we may be possible to finish it all. If not, though, it'll still be first impressions. Obviously, any news from JP, any other further news, we'll obviously be back to talk about the anime, which is airing, because that's going to be cool. Yeah, I think that's everything we're really going to talk about. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and get out of here. Well, like he says, he wants to close out while he reads from the abyss, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up, kids. And tell everybody that if you like this episode and you're watching it on YouTube, give us a like. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Or you can join our Discord that links in the description and on our channel page. Join in with our community, get access to cool tips and stuff. And of course, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to always get our latest videos of any variety. And also considering that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video, because sometimes they're posted weird. Like, I bet this one is going to be, because it's almost 2 hours.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Yeah, we just crossed 150 in raw time. Now, because you ghosted a little bit, some of those will be silences that'll get trimmed, but yeah, it's still pretty long.
Okay.
But yeah, where was I? Subs, notifications. So, I'll remind everybody, like it says at the front of the episode, you can consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to these episodes early and in audio format for as little as $1 a month, and it really helps us out. And those happen to be a little bit more lickety-split than the video versions are. And yeah, that's all the stuff. So we'll see you next week. And we'll see you later this week for What's Up.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready for part 3 of Death Stranding? I'm not.